Hi guys, it's Sophie. So today I want to do a quick sort of like mini haul of some stuff I've picked up in the new year, and then do a kind of like weekend reads, what I'm getting up to at the minute, what I'm planning to get to next kind of video for you. So we're going to go through the books that I have hauled first, and I've gone for a few, like I mentioned online, that I'd been wanting to pick up for a while and hadn't gotten around to. So the first one is By Night the Mountain Burns by Juan, Tomas, Avila, Laurel, and this is a story about this village which sort of suffers these sort of great disasters. I think there's a flood or a fire. A bushfire destroys all of their food, and it's about these villagers like coming together and trying to sort of resurrect their lives, really, having lost everything, and superstition and like religion creeps in, and it's really like a kind of, I don't know, like a story about them trying to cope with this struggle. I'd heard really good things from this one, just sort of like buzzing around, and it's one that I don't know all that much about, but that just because I'd heard that sort of background noise about it, I wanted to get to, and it's the kind of thing that's never going to be stocked in a bookshop near me. That's just not going to happen. So seeing as I'm going online, I'm finding more stuff that otherwise I couldn't get hold of. And the next one is a really like cute collection of short stories called Heartbreaker by Maryse Meijer, and these are all around sort of bits of sort of gender and sex and sexuality, and sort of exploring sort of sex as a concept. I think there's quite a few short stories in here as well. Let's have a quick peek. Yeah, there's like 13, and it's not a very big book, so I think they're probably going to be shorter stuff, which is what I tend to prefer in my short stories rather than really long form stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Haven't heard anyone chat about this one as of yet. It is her debut collection, so it might just be a little bit new yet, but we'll see how I get on with this one. And the next one is one that I've been like dying to pick up for ages, and that is Signs Preceding the End of the World by Yuri Herrera. Again, this is one that like I can't find anywhere around me. I've been looking out for it basically all year. I know that a couple people on BookTube have like really liked it, and I just had really good things. Again, like I keep seeing it popping up on my Goodreads and getting really high ratings, and it's one I just really wanted to get hold of. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. It's the sort of little bit I know is it's about a Mexican woman, I believe, who's crossing over the border to the US, but I understand that his stories are really dark, and his stories are like really hard hitting, really gritty, and that's the kind of thing I really like. I think the book itself is like so beautifully produced, so like, you know, high fives for that as well. And it's translated by Lisa Dillman as well. Sorry if I forgot that with my first one. Yeah, sorry, the first one was translated by Jethri Sutar. And then the next one, because clearly I'm on a little bit of a kick, is The Seamstress in the Wind by Cesar. I read 3 novels by him last year, as in the novels, 3 novels, or the collection of short stories, 3 novels. It's so confusing. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. He has a really whimsical, really strange style, and like I normally don't remember short stories all that well, but the one called Ghosts that's in 3 novels, like it's so strange, but I remember all of it. Yeah, and I am just really looking forward to reading more of him. He's someone I really enjoyed and really wanted to pick up more of, another kind of person who I can't find locally, so really looking forward to like diving into all these people that I've seen and been attracted to but not been able to get hold of. Let's find out who translated this one. Okay, so this was translated by Rosalie Netsch, but yeah. And the next one, again, this is kind of like the feeling of this video, stuff that I've wanted to buy and haven't been able to, is Foreign Soil by Maxine, Beneba, Clarke. I heard about this one on Mercedes' channel, and if I remember rightly, she really enjoyed it. And it's a short story collection by an Australian author, and I don't read all that many Australian authors, like weirdly, because I read so much from the US and like a fair amount from the UK, and like if you're looking at like land masses that speak English and like we're going to be producing loads of books I might automatically buy, I just tend not to go for Australian stuff. So inside the book it says, in Melbourne's western suburbs, in a dilapidated block of flats overhanging the rattling Footscray train lines, a young black mother is working on a collection of stories. So it might even be a little bit meta. It did have Dave Eggers' quote on the front, so maybe that explains that a little bit more. But yeah, it's just, I'm so excited to have all these things I've wanted to read for ages and haven't been able to, and to have them. And I think that's what's going to be nice. Whilst I really like supporting local stuff, that's what's going to be nice about being able to buy whatever I want rather than whatever's like locally available. So I'm just really excited to get into all of those ones. Hi guys, this is slightly future Sophie. I have another couple of books that showed up and I wanted to fit them in this haul. rather than leave them for next time. So I'm interrupting myself, I expect, midway through, but I'm sure I'll forgive myself. The first one that I have is I Saw Ramallah, I think it's really how it is, by Mourid Barghouti. Now I, as you guys remember, had gone through a sort of phase where I was reading more about the Middle East in 2016. And I had a number of books that were on my like to buy list that had been translated from Arabic. I'm sure this is one of the ones that was translated from Arabic. Let me double check. I actually don't know, it doesn't say in the front. But it was translated by Adif Saif. And this is a book that was written by a Palestinian poet about his sort of life being sort of exiled almost from Palestine and about his returning home. And it's supposed to be like absolutely gorgeous. It has ridiculously high ratings on Goodreads, as in like 4 and a bit, like, which is just really, really high. All of the kind of books I stumbled across like this one. And I've read quite a lot about like Israel and Palestine, like from the Israeli angle, and I wanted to get a Palestinian like point of view on it as well. And yeah, the book itself is like absolutely stunning. I just love that so much. So I'm really hoping that I like this one, and we'll see how I go. It's fairly short as well. Let's have a quick peek. Yeah, it's only like 180 pages. I am reading, as you'll hear in a minute, a large book at the moment, so it's not going to be immediately, it's probably not going to be for a couple of months, but I do want to read this one at some stage, certainly this year, and soon if I possibly can. And the next one I was really kindly sent by Pam Macmillan, and it's one I've been really excited about for ages. I've had this one on my like list and I've been bugging Jean about it for a little bit of time. But it is Letters for a Young Muslim by Saif Ghobash. And this just sounds absolutely stunning. It is letters sort of written to the son of a diplomat, sort of talking about what it's like to be Muslim today and what problems there are and what kinds of solutions you might be able to offer, and what sort of what pressure is on young Muslim men especially, and what responsibility they actually have in that society. And it reminds me a little bit of Ta-Nehisi Coates, what was his book called? Between the World and Me, in that it's letters like to a son, and I think that's a really interesting way of exploring like an idea, and I really enjoyed it. In Between the World and Me, how it made it so personal, and I'm really hoping this is what this book does for me. As I say, I've been dying to get my hands on this one as soon as I knew it was a thing, and it is now published. I think it was published out yesterday, so I think you can get your hands on this one if it's something that you are interested in. Should be a really interesting bit of non-fiction, and yeah, as I say, I so badly want to read this. This might be one of the ones that I read in between reading my big book, which we will go on and talk about now, and I will refer you back to Past Sophie. And then the next 3 I picked up on a slight sort of like whim. One of the Read Hunter challenges for 2017 is to read a book about war, and just because of like what's happening, what's going on like in my life at the minute, that's a thing that I want to do sooner rather than later. And so I thought, you know what, like let's go for some classics. So I've picked up The Art of War by Sun Tzu. I think that'd be how you say it. I don't know, apologies if that's completely wrong, feel free to correct me down below. Yeah, and this is a book that I believe is kind of like written in verse and kind of like strategy. It's one of those like big classics that you hear when everyone's reading list. I know a lot of people who have read it and said like, oh, it's really good, I can't believe you haven't read it. And this is like a little bit like my backup book, because I think whilst it's clearly important, like the text itself is fairly sort of spread out, and I think it probably will be the kind of book that's quite quick to read, but that I'll go through with a pen and I'll like underline and mark and stuff. So this, of the 2 I have on war, is my easier one, but yeah, I think this is an important one to read anyway, because I'm trying to do my 12 important books. This might be one of my 12 important books, we shall see. And the other one I have is the one that's like the reason why the other one seems easy, because I got War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy in the like gorgeous, massive, like new like vintage like Russian classics covers, and that's actually what I'm reading at the moment, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But whilst I was there I also got Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Now I'm going to be buddy reading this one with Amy from Shout Amy at some stage in the year, I don't know exactly when, but this is the shorter of the 2, so This is under 1,000 pages long. I can do 2 massive books by Tolstoy, yay! Yeah, this is like just under 1,000 pages long. But because I already knew I was going to go and read this one through, I went to go pick them up because they're beautiful and I feel like they're going to sell really quickly, and then I might not be able to find all the editions I want, and I want them while they're still all on the table. So I got Anna Karenina, so that's sorted for the read along whenever that happens. I'll let you guys know a bit closer to the time when it is, just in case anyone does want to jump in. But I thought I would cross off my need to read the book about war and let's just do a really important book. Let's get it done. I've read 1 book so far this year. I've read Packing for Mars by Maryse, but that was a little bit into November. So my first book of the year is going to be War and Peace. I'm gonna do it. I've just started. I'm 38 pages in, and you know what? It's really funny. I didn't think it was going to be funny. I didn't know that Tolstoy had such a cutting sense of humour, but I'm really liking it. And you know, end of the haul section really, but yeah, just kind of chatting about the book a little bit. Like, I really thought I was going to have a really hard time with the language, and part of this like hangover from Infinite Jest last year is like Infinite Jest was really hard. Like Infinite Jest was me like pushed pretty hard, and this 12 important book thing is a really big deal to me, and I really want to do it well. And yeah, like I was really scared of War and Peace. Like, it's big, you know, but like it's really big. but massive books aren't insurmountable. It's just a case of reading little and often. And I'm a bit just surprised how actually easy it is to sit down and read through without sort of having to stop and look stuff up. Now, I am losing a lot of the historical context because I don't know a lot about history. I'm not a history nerd, I'm not a history buff at all. So I think what I'm probably going to do is, helpfully this edition, if you guys are wanting to pick it up, does have like a massive appendix at the back to like explain things. It has notes throughout, which I'm finding really hard to read just because of how the book's set out, because I'm right at the very front and right at the very back. So I think probably what I'm going to do is once I get to the end of a volume, I'm going to go back, read the notes and try and understand the context a little bit. But it also has, in addition to the notes, a historical index that tells you a little bit about who the characters were that they're mentioning, because there's a lot of stuff in there that's like really politically heavy and really history heavy that I just don't know. And then they also have volume summaries at the end, so to say like what happened in each section, which again I think is really useful. So I think probably what I'm going to do is read through like volume 1, section 1, go back, read the historical context, try and understand a little bit about it, wiki it if I need to, and then go on. Because it was written as like a serialised thing anyhow, I think that's what's going to work for me. If you guys have read War and Peace, because I know this is the kind of place where I can get tips on books like this, let me know what worked for you. If you were someone who doesn't have like a lot of political and historical background, how did you find it? Was it as enjoyable as it could have been? Did you feel like you didn't get it? Like I found that I'm really liking the characters, and I feel like I'm learning like as I'm reading it because the characters are so brilliant. But I don't like the little asides and stuff. I'm not quite there yet, and it feels a little bit like when I read Virgil at school, in that like they'll make little jokes or little like ooh like a new emperor, but like you don't necessarily get them until you go and read them, and it feels a little bit like that. But I guess that's okay, and at least I'm having a go. But yeah, this is what I'm doing at the minute. So just so you guys are aware, this is probably going to be what I'm doing for the next little while. Similar to the way Infinite Jest was, this will be the book I am in and invested in for the next period of time. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, because obviously it changes the way that I film, and it changes the kind of things that I am filming around. What I might do, which a subscriber sort of, you know, said, would you ever think about doing this? And I had with Infinite Jest but didn't end up doing it, is to film myself responding to this book over a long period of time, and then to have that as a separate video to the review video. So to see like how my thoughts on a book evolve over time and how my feelings change. So I may do this with War and Peace, and then kind of update you guys like at the end almost on like how the whole thing went. But yeah, so it does mean my video is going to be a little bit different. I will probably be reading other stuff alongside this every now and again, because I think it's probably a bit heavy just to read on its own, especially because I'm doing it on my own and I've not got someone to sort of comment back and forth on it. But just be aware that video content may be quite War and Peace skewed for the next sort of month or so. Alright, well thank you all ever so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed my little New Year's haul, and yeah, wish me luck. This is a big book, but I think it's going to be good. feeling positive. First book of the year. Let's go in strong, let's go in confident, and I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye bye.